Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our second online writing class. So you remember the last time we met, we talked about narrative writing. Let's say it together. Narrative writing. Narrative writing is defined as a writing that tells a story that's either made up or about real people, places, or things. Now, you remember that the last time we met also, we talked about response to literature, where you guys were writing your own version of a popular story. And what we did when we met on Tuesday was we tapped the prompt, we brainstormed some details in our circle map, and we began drafting our paragraph by doing our detail and juicy details. So putting on your thinking caps real quick, put a thumbs up if you remember, what were we writing about? Let's take a look. So here's our prompt, and I'm going to read it to you one more time. It says, imagine you are one of the three little pigs. How would you stop the wolf from trying to blow your house down? So essentially, we are one of the pigs, and we need to come up with a plan on how we can not have that wolf blow our house down. You also remember, that we came up with many ideas, and you guys planned them on your flea map. Now, I included one on your Google Classroom that you can type in, or you can print and write it in. So to refresh your memory, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read my sentences, and as I read them, I'm going to be underlining capital letters and periods to make sure that my sentences are well punctuated. So watch first. One day, I got a capital O, so that's good. So I'm going to underline that. One day, I stopped the big bad wolf from blowing my house down. Period. I'm going to underline that. I have a capital letter and period. Here's my first detail. First, notice my F is capital, so I have to underline it. First, I played with the wolf. Period. Get to put my period. I played soccer with him. My I is capital. And I have a period here. To my second detail. Next, I cooked him a meal. Notice my transition words, capital, then a period. It was delicious. Once again, capital letter, period. So I'm going to give you some time, and you can pause this video for you to read over your topic sentence, detail, juicy detail, detail, and juicy detail. All right, everyone, great job. So now our job today is we need to draft our last detail and juicy detail, our concluding sentence, and then, as you guys remember, we are going to start writing our paragraphs, or in your case, you are going to start typing your paragraphs. So let's take a peek. So we remember that when we are doing a detail, we have a certain sentence structure. Transition word, who or what, and an action or description. Now remember, transition words are first, next, lastly. Who or what would be a person or animal or a thing. And an action or description, well, are they doing something, or are we just describing, like, is the cat white? All right, so now that we've gone over that, what I'm going to do is I need to come up with my second detail. So my third detail. So you remember that I talked about playing. I talked about how I cooked a meal with him. But I also remember that I talked about building a gate. So I'm going to say build a gate. Let's say it together. Build a gate. Thumbs up or down. Is that a complete sentence? No. Because I need to follow the structure. Transition word, who or what, and an action or description. So now listen to this sentence. Because we know we used first, next, it's time for lastly. Lastly, I built a gate. Is that a complete sentence? Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I go over here to my third box, and I'm going to write that in my best handwriting. Notice how I'm using a capital letter. So I'm going to say lastly, that's my transition word. My who or what is I, right? I. And then my action. Built, doing a past tense verb, a gate. And I need to make sure I have that period at the end so it's a complete thought. Now, to really make sure that my sentence is the best that I could have written it, let's take a look at my sentence checklist. Number 1, did I start my sentence with a capital letter? Well, let's take a peek. Sure did. There's my capital L. Number 2, my sentence has an ending mark. I'm looking back. Yeah, there's a period here. And finally, I think this is the hardest one, does my sentence make sense? So I'm going to whisper read it as you read my sentence. Lastly, I built a gate. Does that make sense? That makes sense to me. So I've got that detail. It's juicy detail time. And you guys remember, I have a set of rules for those too. And here are my juicy detail rules. Juicy details need to match the detail. Meaning, if I'm talking about I went out to eat with friends, can I say I like skydiving? No, because that does not match. It needs to be a complete sentence. And finally, remember, we're almost second graders. I don't allow boring adjectives. No fun, no cool, and no good. We can meet this challenge. So once again, I'm going to model this for you. So you remember that my detail is, lastly, I built a gate. So first, it needs to match my detail. So I need to talk about the gate. Could I say the gate was big? That works. Could I say I eat sandwiches with the wolf? Probably not, because that's not about the gate. So I'm going to say the gate, and even a better word than big would be large. The gate, whoops, sliding here, was large. That's my juicy detail to tell my reader more. And same with this sentence, I need to do that checklist. Did I start my sentence with a capital letter? Yep. Here's my capital T. Do I have an ending mark at my sentence? I do. There's my period. And last, does the sentence make sense? The gate was large. Yes, it does. All right, now, I'm going to give you some time to take a look at your circle map that you typed your words in. If I were one of the 3 little pigs, and you're going to circle your second detail, and then plan your last detail using our transition word lastly. Make sure it's a complete sentence too, and then you're going to do the juicy detail to tell me more. Remember, I am looking for past tense verbs. So you can pause the video while you complete this task. All right, my friends, we have finally come to the time where we are going to do our concluding sentence. Now, remember, the topic sentence introduces the readers to what you're writing about. The concluding sentence here is going to help you or your readers understand that you're done. This is the end of our story. And here are some of my options I have. So this is my bank, and I've also included it on the slide deck that's in your Google Classroom. This was how I liked, in the end. So I'm going to choose the first one. This was how I. And I know I was talking about how I prevented my house from being blown down. So what I'm going to do is, in this square here, I'm going to write, this was how, notice I have finger spaces and I'm doing my best writing. Now I'm going to say, I stopped. I because I is a proper noun, so we got to capitalize it. Stopped the wolf almost there. And I might have to go a little over because I write big. So this was how I stopped the wolf from, that's one of our sight words, blowing my house down. All right, now it's going to be your turn to choose one of the frames and complete it. So instead of just making it blank, you're going to fill it in with what you did. Maybe I liked being one of the pigs. In the end, I saved my family. Those are all great examples. You may pause the video as you come up with your concluding sentences. So now, you guys have done a wonderful job of drafting your whole paragraph. What we're going to do next is we're going to edit this paragraph, meaning we're going to color code it and go through our paragraph checklist steps. And you can see here, it says I have a topic sentence, my details are complete thoughts, the juicy details match the detail, I have periods in capital letters, I have a concluding sentence. So I'm going to move that flap, and the first thing I'm going to look for is I have a topic sentence. Now, you first graders have done this all year. You know that topic sentences are green. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my green marker and I'm going to actually highlight my box. Because I know this is the very first sentence, my friends, that I'm going to write down or type on my paper. Now, the next one, we know that details, because on my checklist it says, my details are complete thoughts. So I'm going to read my details. First, I played with the wolf. That seems good. Next, I cooked him a meal. Lastly, I built a gate. Now, you guys remember that the details are yellow. So now that I've read them and they're complete thoughts, we are going to box those in yellow. And this is why as first graders, it's always good that if you want, you could always print our flea map. And by printing the flea map, you can then color code if you need help doing our direction and what sentences to write next. Alright, so I did those details. Now, I need to see. Ooh, the juicy details match the details. So I'm going to take my big red juicy marker. And next, I'm going to box around my juicy details. But before I do that, let's read to make sure it matches. First, I played with the wolf. I played soccer with him. Yeah, that looks good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do red. This one says, next, I cooked him a meal. It was delicious. That matches too. So I'm going to take my red marker and box it. Lastly, I built a gate. The gate was large. I'm going to take that red marker once more and box it. Alright, so I've color coded this part. The next step, and we kind of did this step throughout our meeting and our session, I have periods in capital letters. You remember I had us reread our paragraph and we underlined those periods in capital letters, so we should be good there. And the last step we're going to do is I have a concluding sentence, meaning I'm finishing this paragraph. And you remember that that is green, my concluding sentence. So I'm going to box it, but before I box it, let me read it. This was how I stopped the wolf from blowing my house down. That tells the reader I'm all done. It's all done, and I kind of had to do it this way. So now, my friends, here's what you're going to do. Your job is each one of you is going to get a Google Doc, or what you could also do is you could use paper and take a picture if you're writing, if you please. But I want to see how we can do it our typing. And let's go over our paragraph dance just to make sure that we remember what order everything happens in and how we write it. So could you hold the camera? So let's go over that. So you're going to turn it so it's facing me. Okay. So hi, this is my first video where I'm actually in it. So you guys remember that green is our topic sentence. So I'm going to do the topic sentence arms. So we do topic sentence. Remember yellow, detail, and after details, juicy detail, detail, juicy detail, detail, juicy detail, and finally we're going to end with a concluding sentence. Alright guys, let's try it one more time, but this time I'm going to say the colors. And this is the order that you are either going to type or write your sentences in. So we're going to do green, yellow, red, yellow, red, yellow, red, green. So remember, that is the order. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my topic sentence. Detail, juicy detail, detail, juicy detail, detail, juicy detail, concluding sentence. Alright, I look forward to seeing what you guys have typed and how your papers come out. Thank you so much for our writing session.